All righty, you are looking live. It's sold out MetLife Stadium where today the 16-0 and playoff-bound New York Giants are taking on the 0-16 New Orleans Saints. And why are the New Orleans Saints 0-16? They suck. Man, that never gets old. Welcome to the Gridiron. Anybody out there at all is going to spend a little bit of time with me here this evening, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Or if anybody's going to spend any time watching the replay, just once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. Thank you. I'm going to try to go about 30 minutes, shoot my mouth off for about 30 minutes. Anybody got anything to say, please feel free, fire away, throw it in the chat box. So you should try to check on the chat box like 5 to 10 minutes or so. So as soon as I see something in there, I try to respond to it as fast as I can. But please also, instead of me just like rambling on for half an hour, 45 minutes, or whatever it might wind up being, it's just nice to talk to another Giant fan. So please feel free, fire away. Before I get started, if anybody wants to help support my channel out, here goes my buddy Randy. Gotta move the chair. All right, Randy's here. We can begin. If anybody wants to help support my channel out, it would mean the absolute world to me. In the description box below, the top link, very top link in the description box takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. The first one's called the Saquon. The second one's called the Lawrence Taylor. And the third membership level I got is called the Gridiron. Each one's got their own little perks to them. So if you want to help support my channel out, it would mean so much to me. And I thank you in advance. Thank you. If you are subscribed to my channel, once again, thank you. I can use all the support I can get, guys. But if not, please go down below, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That way, next time I go live, if I put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. What do you got to lose, right? But if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. Then finally, also a little farther ways down in the description box is 2 additional links. The top one's a Facebook link, which I'll go over in just a minute. And then the one just underneath that, to me, I'm an old fart. It's Twitter. It's always been Twitter. It's Twitter today. It'll be Twitter tomorrow. 3 trillion years from now, it'll be Twitter. Whatever letter of the alphabet Elon Musk wants to call it, that's on him. It's Twitter. You follow me on Twitter, I will follow you back. That's an absolute promise. I try to put stuff in Twitter every day, Giants related, of course, right? And then the link right above it takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. We have over 7,400 members in the group. It's doing simply marvelous, might I add. Basically, if I'm alive and breathing, if I have internet access, I'm putting stuff in this group basically 7 days a week, 365. And not only do I put stuff in there, but members post stuff in there as well. So if you become a member, you can post stuff in here as well, too. So between me and the members, there's a ton of New York Giants information going in this group every day. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's a Facebook group. Please join it. You won't be dissatisfied. I promise. All right. With all that stuff said and done, that away with. All right. Well, here we go. Where are we at here? Well, however you want to look at it, right? Playoffs, no playoff, whatever you want to look at. But if you're in the playoff kind of mode, right? Must-win game, number 4. We got Tommy chicken, cutlet, Parmesan, lasagna, ravioli, DeVito in there, right? Obviously it seems like half, maybe a little bit more, I guess, maybe, but close to about half seem to want this. The fantasy, the magical carpet ride just to keep on rolling, baby, right? Keep on rolling. Somewhere along the line, it's going to come to a crashing end before the season comes to an end. But, the magical carpet ride we're on right now. So a lot of people want to just keep rolling. Make that push to the playoffs, end on a high note. As I said, this wonderful story we got with Tommy DeVito. Like to see that keep going. Can he end the season on a high, right? Can he keep this train rolling? Even if we lose a game or so, whatever, can we at least look respectable? And then of course, then the other half of the fan base, 0.5%, whatever you want, 45, 40, 35, 1/3%, whatever you want to call it, is dude, what have we done? Why aren't we tanking? Because ain't no football team Ain't no football player, ain't no football coach, ain't no football tanking. Ain't happening. Not happening. Right. So, of course, you when you're in these Facebook groups and stuff like that, you see it's amazing how many people, just want us to just lose every game. There's nobody. There's no Lawrence Taylor coming out, guys. And if he is, he's going number one. And we're not getting him. Newsflash, right? We're not getting him. Anybody who we will get, where we're picking, is going to help the team, regardless. They're not sending us to the Super Bowl the very next season. We're not making the 2024 Super Bowl or after the 2024 season because we're picking number 8 and we picked Joe Blow from Baylor, and he's going to make us a Super Bowl champion. It's not happening. It's not happening whether we pick even if we pick Caleb Williams or whoever. If we pick a quarterback, we're not going to Super Bowl because we picked Caleb Williams next season. Not happening. Right? As I said, nobody's giving up. These guys don't go through all this stuff week in and week out just to go out there and lay an egg on a Sunday. Not happening. Right? So we're going down to Nolans. Big game for both teams. You look. You start looking at it. You think about the Commanders game. Well, at the time when we played the Commanders, it was still kind of a big game to the Commanders, right? Because they had 4 wins. If they would have beaten the Giants, it would have been 5, and maybe they could have gotten another win, and they could have got more. Even if they had 5 wins, right now they'd still be close to being in the playoff. So that was a big game. The Patriot game, wasn't. The Patriots were playing for pride. The Giants went winning, obviously, of course. But we're on a roll now, right? We're on a roll, right? The Packer game, the Saint game, the Eagle game, the Ram game, the Eagle game. Those 5 games, every team is battling for something. You got the Packers, right? The Saints and the Rams. They're battling. Well, the Saints are actually battling for the division title because everybody in that division just stinks. So they're battling, but for even if they don't say the Falcons win out or whatever, and they wind up winning. The Saints still have a legitimate chance at getting a wild card. Obviously. Then you guys said the Packers that have a real hard time of catching the Lions. The Packers would have to pretty much, I think, win out. The Lions would have to probably pretty much lose out. So I don't think they're catching the Lions. But Packers have a real good shot at a wild card. I think they're the last team in the wild card too, and they don't want to lose this. That was a huge game for both teams, right? So the Saint game, huge game. When we play the Rams are still 6 and 7, huge game. Then of course, let's not forget the 2 games against the Eagles. Now, the Eagles they got to play. They had that stretch, and we can even if you want. In Seattle, on the road, the 12th man, all that stuff and everything, right? That's a big game. Seattle's going to put up some points. The Eagles' defense is not championship caliber, right? If they win, they're going to have to win in spite of their defense, right? Excuse me. Their offense is going to have to, pull them through. Kind of a little bit like when they won the Super Bowl, after this 2017 season, whatever it was. Tom Brady had 500 yards passing. Just walked them up and down the field. I think they gave up almost 600 yards of total offense. Their defense was absolutely god-awfully pathetic. Maybe not 100% through the season, but in that Super Bowl, Tom Brady had about 500 yards passing. You give up 500 yards passing. I don't care if it's Super Bowl, if it's the Pro Bowl, whatever. Your defense freaking stinks, right? So anyway, I said the game's going to be huge for the Eagles because the Eagles got the Seahawks. Then they got 3, kind of, I don't want to say gimmies, but close to 2 against the Giants. Giants haven't beaten the Eagles since I think George Washington was the president. Then they got to play the Cardinals, right? Now, the Cardinals are getting a little bit of a lift because Kyler Murray's back. Kyler Murray's, runs all over the freaking place. It's tough to sack him and all that. Yeah, he can make things happen. But those are, obviously between the 2 against the Giants and 1 against the Cardinals, those are 3 teams that are not in the upper echelon, shall we say, right? So the games that they're playing against the Giants are shoot, and the Eagles, it's like a 3-inch putt. The Eagles, the wrong golf course. What do you do with 3-inch putt? You drain it. So the Eagles are going to do everything they possibly can to make sure they win those games against the Giants and the Cardinals. You know, because the Cowboys, they finished the game of the season in Washington against the Commanders. Now the Commanders, from time to time, can give the Cowboys fits, and it's on the road, right? And the Cowboys are good at home, a little bit different on the road. So that can be, it can be a little bit iffy. But I mean, the Cowboys got to play the Lions, they got to play the Bills, and they got to play the Dolphins next week. And I'm going to be in Miami. My son and I, because he's a Cowboy fan. I know. I'm sorry. It hurts. I'm a Giants fan, but he's a Cowboy. It hurts. But anyway, so next weekend I'm going to be in Miami watching the Cowboys play the Dolphins. But I mean, the Cowboys got to play. They got to play Buffalo, right? That ain't going to be easy. Then they got to play the Dolphins. Then they got to play. I think they have to play the Lions. So I mean, they got 3 tough games coming up. So if they falter at all, right, and they give them 4 losses, and the Eagles can win out, then the Eagles wind up winning. So I mean, that last game of the season in Jersey, right? I mean, that game could be freaking huge for the Eagles. They're going to go on in and they're going to, we got to win this one so we can win the division. And, I mean, that game could be freaking huge. Could also wind up being for the number 1 seed. You don't know in the playoffs. I mean, that would be huge too. I mean, the Eagles want to have the game at home. I mean, it didn't matter much against the 49ers. 49ers just came in there, kicked the living crap out of the 49ers are the best team in the NFC. Can they stay healthy? That's the huge thing. When they lost Williams, their left tackle, for like 3 games, they lost 3 games in a row. He comes back and they're gelling again, once again. Just kind of goes to show you, like the Giants when we lost Andrew Thomas and 1,300 other offensive linemen, right? We lost our starting quarterback twice. We lost Tyrod Taylor, right? Kind of shows you, some team, it's hard to win when you have injuries. And the 49ers had a couple injuries, but one of them was Williams, their tackle. And when he was out, they started losing, right? So I'm saying, but those 2 games against the Giants are going to be freaking huge. So, I mean, these final 4 games, and 5 if you want to include the Packer game, it's huge. Huge for all the teams the Giants are playing and huge for the Giants. Even if the Giants are having to get knocked out, they're still, what can we do, especially with the Eagles, right? Can we show can we show some improvement against the Eagles, right? We just got annihilated last year in the playoff game, the one home game. Can we show some? If we go in Philly and we lose 30-20, I can deal with that. The Eagles are definitely the better team. They're relatively healthy as of right now. If we go in there and we can put up 20 on them, as I said, they don't have the greatest defense in the world, but they do have a very good offense. I said, if we go in there, and 8 to 10 point loss, I can deal with that. Then if the final game of the season, if we lose to them by whatever, touchdown or something like that, I can deal with that. Why? Because we've shown improvement from last year, right? We're banged up or whatever. We got a 3rd string quarterback in there. Can we keep it close? I can deal with that. Getting blown out 38-7 is not good. What the hell was this for? 48-21 the other game was. I mean, not good. Not good. So I'm saying these games coming up are huge. I said that, and the game tomorrow in New Orleans going to be huge for the New York football and the Saints though. Huge. Because they're right there. They're right. They're tied for the division lead. Of course, every team in the division is under 500. It's a huge game for them. They're looking at the Giants coming in. It's like, we can win this game. And if they did, I think they'll be 7-7. They'll be right there. They'll still be tied for first, at least tied for first place. They'll be 500, 3 games to go. Anything can happen. So a huge, huge game. But Giants are going to get a little bit of help, a little bit more. Let me say, let me rephrase that a little bit more. They're going to get a nice little boost, shall we say? Nice little boost. New York Giants activate Darren Waller off the IR in major boost to offense. Tommy DeVito's next chapter will include one of the Giants' top playmakers. Thank you. Thank you, sweet dear baby Jesus. Oh, thank you. The Giants activated tight end Darren Waller from the injury reserve on Saturday, move that was expected ahead of the team's clash against the Saints on Sunday at Caesars Superdome in New Orleans. He played on a reduced snap count, though. It will be I mean, he's not going in there for 60 snaps and like that. He might maybe 20 snaps. I don't know, whatever, 25 snaps. Who knows? But just having him on the field, would be huge. And I said, and then if he can make it through this game, okay. Then having him on the field in Philly the following week would be huge, huge, huge. I mean, especially helping out in the passing game, like with DeVito. Waller's not played since week 8 when he lost to he strained his hamstring to the Jets. Right. He was optimistic this week about the chance of returning for Sunday's game, which, I mean, it's really going to help Tommy Chicken Cutlets out a lot. Definitely what I want to do and what I've been used to doing is like 70, 80 snaps a game, Waller told reporters Wednesday. So coming out the first week, probably not that, but as far as a number that's solid, that can contribute in whatever ways he needs me to contribute, but also be fresh, assuming that's realistic. But yeah, I plan on contributing given the opportunity. So fantastic. Despite missing the last 5 games, he has 36 receptions. So basically, we played 13 games. He's missed 5. And expect the same thing next season. So he played basically 8 games, which just say half the season, okay? He scored 36 passes in basically half this. So you double that up, 36. So he was on pace for probably close to 70 if he played the whole season, which, of course, he hasn't. He's not going to, and probably next season he's not going to either. But he was on pace for about 75 receptions for the season and over 800 yards receiving, about 2 touchdowns, which is not. But then again, the Giants' offense has been rather pathetic, especially when he was in there. But he was on pace for over 800 receiving yards and 75 catches. Very, very solid numbers. And he's going to be absolutely huge for Tommy Chicken Cutlets. The Giants are riding a 3-game winning streak behind DeVito and have rekindled faint playoff hopes, sitting 1 game out of the last postseason spot. It's absolutely crazy. 4 teams are between the Giants and the Packers for the final spot, and one of them is the Saints. Sunday will be Wall's first time playing with DeVito in the regular season. So I think he's doing a great job, Waller said. I think he starts with a calm demeanor and just confidence in yourself, and that exudes out, and guys in the huddle are going to feed off of that. Absolutely. I mean, they know, I mean, if you're not sure or I mean, they know. You go in there and you just, you bark out the whatever the play call is, whatever the snap counts on, you go, let's go, bam, right? I mean, it's the guys can feel that, absolutely feel that, Let's see. I've been doing this my whole life, and he's got an opportunity to slow things down a little bit, and you keep doing that as long as you can get reps. And once the game slows down in your head, it's easier to just let your body take over. Absolutely. And as I said, I mean, it's just, I mean, Tommy Chicken Cutlets. I mean, that's going to be huge too. I mean, when he starts knowing things and, and more and more confidence and all that, things are going to start slowing down. With him, I mean, the one problem is that you don't know. I mean, he'll probably finish out, as long as you don't get injured or not like that, he'll probably finish out the rest of the season. But you don't know it next season. Will he get any? I mean, he'll play in preseason. Don't worry about that. That's happening. But what's going to happen in the during the regular season is going to be able to keep getting snaps and all of that. And you don't know. But It is what it is. But I mean, if he can play at least play these final 4 games, that would be huge toward his development. Absolutely huge. Every snap he gets is huge. Absolutely priceless. Then we got good old Sexy Dexy. He's looking for some additional reps. And yes, he only played with, I think it was like 29 snaps. Was it always 29 last week? So to hear Dexter Lawrence, one of the NFL's most disruptive defensive players, describe his time on the field as timid was quite an admission for the 340-pound intimidator who anchors the Giants' defensive line. That is how Lawrence characterizes play early in the 24-22 victory over the Lions. Yeah, I mean, because you go in there with a hamstring, you don't know how much to, to give it, you go all of a sudden full force, those first few reps, and all of a sudden you one quick this or quick that, whatever like that, and you aggravate the hamstring, boom, you might as well just sit out the rest of the season. And so I'm sure you can see where, understandably so, where he said he was kind of a little on the timid side. I can certainly see that. Let's see here. Lawrence, prior to the bye week, sat out with a strained hamstring as the Giants beat the Patriots 10-7. The first game he's missed with an injury in his 5-year career. I mean, that contact and that he ever play in and play out. He's taking on 1, 2 guys, probably sometimes 3 guys on a play, and he's still going in there and making sacks and tackles and all this stuff and everything. He's only missed 1 game. Then you get other guys, we know who they are, who can't even go out there and play 15 snaps in a game without getting injured. It's unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Let's see. He was able to return to play 29 of his 68 snaps. So not even half the snaps, right? Not even half. So hopefully this week, instead of 29 out of 68, hopefully it'll be 40, 45. Maybe out of 68, maybe like 2/3 of the snaps. But, once again, that, this game obviously is huge, but so are the next 3 games the Giants are playing too. So you don't want to send them on the IR by putting them in for 100% of the snaps. So 29 out of 68 snaps was far less than his normal workload, so as not to overload the hamstring and risk a setback. I said, you get 1 setback, your season's over with. In the beginning of the game, I was a little timid, not practicing fast during the week, Lawrence told the Post. As the game went on, got to be football player Lawrence Taylor, football player Lawrence, was not his dominating self. He is the highest rated defensive player in the league, according to Pro Football Focus. But he did end up with 3 tackles, 1 half sack, and 2 quarterback hits. Not bad. He only played basically half his snaps. So, best of all, the Giants, he did not re-aggravate his injury, which is huge. He should be capable of more plays in Sunday's game with the Saints inside the Superdome. I trust the guys we have in this room, and they had an awesome game, Lawrence said. Obviously, I want to be on the field as much as I can, but I want to be on the field being able to be Dexter, right? I think I got enough reps to where I could still be myself and not hurt myself. I guess I started getting more comfortable knowing that the hamstring was there and understanding how I would feel if feel it and when I would feel it and what it was feeling like. Okay. But just having him out there, is, it's going to be huge. Absolutely huge. And I said, if he only played 30 snaps there, he'll be, 35, 40 snaps. Hopefully it'll be absolutely huge. Absolutely huge. All right. Then I seen this thing here, and it's kind of interesting. They're talking about, I always get all these questions asked, of course, that and everything. And of course, with Evan Neal struggling and can't stay healthy and this, that, and the other thing, the questions were out there and all and everything. And they asked about Daniel Jones, and he was almost like non-hesitant. He said, when Daniel Jones is healthy, he's the starting quarterback. Boom. Then they asked him about Evan Neal, and he wasn't so like direct. He wouldn't kind of like, when Evan Neal's healthy, he'll be the starting right tackle. Didn't sound like it. So kind of interesting. Brian Daboll, non-committal regarding Evan Neal's return to the starting offensive line. Daboll wouldn't confirm if Evan Neal would be reinserted in the starting lineup once he's healthy. Interesting. I mean, some of it's also because you figure, the Giants, you got the continuity going on there, and you don't want to disrupt that. I mean, if Phillips is doing, he's not playing at a Hall of Fame, All-Pro level. He's playing at a serviceable level. Okay, he's doing a nice job, especially for being a backup and all that stuff. All right. But the offensive line, they've been doing, Tommy Chicken Cutlets got sacked, 800 times his first couple games and all that. A lot of it was because he's holding on to the ball too long, but he's getting better. No sacks, 2 quarterback hits against the Packers, right? Over 200 yards rushing. Once again, no sacks. Yeah, so we're running the ball. Pressure was given up, but he was only hit, I think, a couple times. No sacks. So the offensive line is starting to get a little continuity to it. So and like against the Eagles, do you want Neal going up to Daboll and tapping him on the shoulder? And Daboll's like, what's up? What's going on, Evan? Oh, hey, coach. Hey, I think I'm good. My ankle. I think I'm good. I think I can give it a shot. Let me go in there against the Eagles. They had 1,800 sacks last year. They have 37 guys on their team that each had at least double-digit sacks. Let me take a shot at it. I think I might do all right. He better be 100% healthy. But I'm saying, as far as that continuity. Right. They're starting. We're getting the same guys on the offensive line for a game after game after game, which we didn't have, obviously, in the beginning of the season. So he might be a little leery as far as, I'm just saying because of the continuity of the offensive line. Brian Daboll wasted no time declaring quarterback Daniel Jones the starter entering next year shortly after Jones' season ended due to a torn ACL. Daboll, however, wouldn't make any such declarations regarding the offensive line, and in particular, the right tackle position, where Evan Neal, listed as doubtful for this weekend's game against New Orleans, has been trying to work his way back from an ankle injury. So this will be his 11th game he's missed in 2 seasons. Daboll said, "I'd just say he's working to get better." Daboll said. Daboll said when asked if Neal would regain his starting job ahead of Tyree Phillips, who was filled in for Neal at right tackle, and Daboll said, "We'll see. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it." That's not exactly a ringing endorsement nor a surprising one. Neal, the 7th overall pick in last year's draft, has struggled with his play when he was on the field. Last season, he allowed 52 quarterback pressures and 534 pass blocking snaps. So basically, he's allowed a pressure 1 out of every 10 snaps, which is really horrible. Let's see here. The 52 quarterback snaps, the 52 quarterback pressures was the 3rd most among all tackles. In 309 pass blocking snaps this year, he's allowed 30 pressures, which is basically the same thing as last year. 52 and 534, basically 1 out of every 10. This year, 30 pressures and 309. So basically it's the same thing. 1 out of every 10 pass blocking snaps, he's allowing a pressure. So you figure if they drop back, say, if we got to throw the ball 30 times, just say 30, he gives up 3 pressures a game. Now you figure if he was on the field every game at this rate, it'd be 7, he'd be giving up 51 pressures a year, which is horrible. Absolutely horrible. Let's see here. So his 30 pressures is tying him for 24th most among tackles. So it's 30, and he's missed games. So just remember, if he was actually in all the games, he'd be way over 30 pressures. Way over 30 pressures. You got Neal's inability to take the next step in his development has left some wondering if he has a future at guard. However, General Manager Joe Schoen and offensive line coach Bobby Johnson have pushed back on that theory, insisting that Neal has what it takes to play in the NFL at tackle. So Phillips, whom the Giants had in training camp this summer, only to cut him when the 53-man roster was filled out, was brought back from the Eagles practice squad, where he landed after the summer once the injuries to Andrew Thomas and Matt Parrott happened. In 215 pass blocking snaps, Phillips, who can also play guard, has allowed just 18 pressures. Right, so he's like on. So so Phillips is allowing a pressure 1 every 12 pass blocking snaps. Evan Neal is 1 every 10. Okay, so Phillips is doing a little bit better of a job than Evan Neal is. Dable said he's done a nice job. Dable hasn't necessarily been afraid of sticking with the hot hand when decisions like these must be made. He stuck with Tommy DeVito, a quarterback, after Tyrod Taylor returned from a ribcage injury, showing a preference for not wanting to upset the chemistry, right, that has been developed, which is huge. For now, he could be leaning to do the same thing on the offensive line, where the chemistry is even more important. I just say go out there and have a good day today and see where it goes, Dable said when asked about the benefit of sticking with an offensive line. It has shown improvement as the Giants line as of late. I mean, and almost, for what do you want to say? You can see, right, at the beginning of the season, when basically every other week we had a different starting offensive line right in there. You can see, right, every week, different starting offensive 5. Next week, different starting offensive 5. Different starting, different, right? You can certainly see where it's obviously caused some problems. Once you start getting some continuity and all and everything, right, you can start getting a little bit better. Obviously, last week, no sacks given up, none, right? 2 quarterback hits the whole game, over 200 yards rushing, and only 80 something of it was from Saquon. So you can start seeing, where the offensive line is starting to gel a little bit better, and you can certainly see where he's not wanting to upset the apple cart, right? Without question. So it's going to be a little bit different, a little bit difficult, shall we say, especially this season for these last 3 weeks. I think even if Evan Neal is, healthy, maybe to pull Phillips out and insert Evan Neal in there. So, we'll have to, see how it goes. I mean, regardless of how you look at it, I mean, when they go play the Eagles, I'm sure, Evan Neal or Tyree Phillips, whoever it might wind up being, is going to have a hard time. It's going to be a challenge going up against the Eagles because, I mean, they're just, they're that good. They're that good. So, all right. And then finally, let's go over, shall we? Let's go over a little bit of some of the preview. Now, this is certainly without question a very winnable game for the New York Football Giants. The Superdome, at times, right, but it has been kind of a house of horrors for about 15 years or so there, when you had Drew Brees and Sean Payton as the coach. I mean, They always had some decent receivers. They always had a nice offensive line. They would always put up a lot of points against the Giants. So it's kind of a little bit of a house of horrors. Giants give up just a lot of points, right? So, it's been a tough place to win for the Giants. Now, was it 2 seasons ago, right? Yeah, 2 seasons ago. We won in overtime there. Really exciting game. We fell behind. Daniel Jones, we started clawing back, right? And then we had that. He had Saquon Barkley, right? He was going down the sideline. He caught a pass. I think my thumbnail. He's up there like that. I think that's the touchdown reception that Saquon has. So if you look at my thumbnail, and then of course Saquon runs it into the end zone, bowls his way into the end zone in overtime. The Giants wind up winning. Very, very, very exciting game. But, this is one of those games, very, very winnable. Their offense has not been super spectacular. It's been better than the Giants. Don't get me wrong there. They don't have Thomas, right? One of the best wide receivers, one healthy, one of the best wide receivers in football. So he won't be there, but they have Alvin Kamara. I said, then they have some other nice stuff. Olave. He's very, very good. So it's going to be interesting to see, do they have Adoree Jackson just on one side and Banks on the other, and they're just staying there? Or do we have somebody that's just going to follow Olave all around the field? Be interesting to see. I said Kamara, dude's a freaking beast. But I'm saying, they're not putting up like John Madden-like numbers. Their defense is not super spectacular. It's very, very middle of the pack. Their run game is not very good. Their run defense is not very good. They certainly have some very good players. Their secondary is very good. So as far as trying to like walk up and down the field on their secondary, it's going to be a little bit of a challenge. It's going to be a little bit of a challenge for the Giants, but without question, this is certainly a winnable game. All right, so let's see. So I got this nice long list of stuff here. This is from Giants.com. Game preview here. Giants and the Saints are in similar positions, but with different outlooks. That could change Sunday when the teams meet in Caesars Superdome. The Saints are ranked 11th, and the Giants are ranked 12th in the current NFC standings. Based on tiebreakers, New Orleans is one of 6 conference teams that enters Week 15 with a 6-7 record. That's just crazy. That many teams with a 6-7 record. Giants are 5-8 after their victory Monday night against the Packers, and obviously, the Packers are also 6-7 and currently hold the 7th and final conference playoff seed. Now, I believe the Vikings lost today, so now the Vikings are now 7-7, right? But if the Saints control their playoff destiny and win in each of their final 4 games, will guarantee a postseason spot. The Giants, even if they continue their late season surge through the final game, will need help to play on a super wild card weekend. Giants can't be eliminated this week. Cool. However, they must leapfrog 5 teams with 6 wins over the final 4 weeks to sneak into the final playoff spot. And that's tough to do. It's not so much that we're like maybe a game back. It's, it's just how many teams we got to leapfrog over. And it's not only that, but we got 4 games left. 2 of them are winnable. I'm not saying we're going to win them, but they are winnable. But then there's 2 games against the Eagles, who are going to be playing for their freaking lives, who we have not beaten since Jesus Christ walked the earth. And not saying it's an absolute total impossibility to beat the Eagles. So I'm not saying that, but it's going to be monumental. And it's just to come on here and say, well, yeah, if we run the ball, we stay disciplined with the pass, and we do this, and we little play action. Maybe we get a couple of offside calls on their defense because this happens, and then maybe we get a timely pass interference that sets us up for a field goal, and then maybe we play some good defense. I think we can beat. That's just BS. It's going to be tough to beat the Eagles. Period. However you want to comment and talk about it's going to be straight up difficult to beat the Eagles. 90% chance the Eagles are going to win a game. Right? So, I mean, that's the problem. The Giants have so many teams to leapfrog, and we got two real tough games against a team that we can't beat. The Giants can't be eliminated. However, they must leapfrog 5 teams with 6 wins over the final 4 weeks to sneak into the playoffs. It will be extremely difficult to play an 18th game if they don't improve their 2-5 road record tomorrow and win in one of the NFL's loudest venues. Yes, I mean, they're on the road, not impressive. 2-5. Great atmosphere there, said Dable. It's loud. They have a great fan base, so you've got to try to prepare the best you can, make it as loud as you can. The communication is of the utmost importance. It's a challenging environment to play in. Giants are 2-3 indoors game under Dable, winning the NFC wildcard game in Minnesota in January and in Arizona on September 17th. They're 4-8 in the Superdome, which is not impressive. The victory there on October 3rd, 2021, broke a 5-game losing streak in the building that stretched from 1994 to 2015. Now, a lot of those years, Drew Brees was in there. So we went over 20 years without winning in the Superdome. House of Horrors. It's a tough, fun environment to play in, said Saquon, who scored the game-winning touchdown, a 6-yard run when the Giants won in New Orleans 2 seasons ago. He said, it's a dope stadium, and we got to win. So that was fun. But that was many years ago. Going against a team that is coming off a win, they're playing great, and it's going to be a tough challenge and a tough environment. Now, they did not play great against Carolina. They had 207 yards of total offense against the worst team in football, and they played at home too. Right? The Saints and Giants had some notable similarities. Both teams recently endured 3-game losing streaks. The Saints ended theirs with the 28-6 victory over Carolina last week. After the 2 teams face off against each other, they will each play the Los Angeles Rams, who are also 6-7, and 2 division games. The Giants will face Philadelphia twice, while the Saints will play Tampa Bay and Atlanta, with whom they are tied atop the NFC South. The division games will be extremely, extremely important if we take care of business this week against the Giants, New Orleans coach Dennis Allen said. The margin for error is extremely small right now, and we need to make sure we're taking advantage of every opportunity. The teams are tied for 5th in the NFL with 22 takeaways. Okay, that's good. And the Giants, hopefully we can keep those takeaways coming. Remember, they come in packs. They've been coming so far for the Giants over the past few games. Hopefully they continue. That would be huge if the Giants could pick up a few turnovers. And especially if the Giants, the offense, could eliminate them. That would be freaking huge. Now, let's not forget, Alvin Kamara and Barkley were the NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year in successive seasons. Alvin Kamara in 2017, Saquon in 2018. And each has had total 9. Wow. That's weird. Look at that. Now, Kamara did miss the first 3 games of the season, though, because he had a suspension, right? But Barkley and Kamara each has totaled 966 scrimmage yards this season. Interesting. But I said if Kamara was not suspended for the first 3 games, he'd have, 1,100. So, anyway, each team has received a huge boost from an undrafted rookie. Giants quarterback Tommy DeVito, the reigning NFC Offensive Player of the Week, has played 3 consecutive games without throwing an interception and could become the first undrafted rookie at his position to win 4 straight games. Wow. Could become the first undrafted rookie. Wow. New Orleans' Rashid Shaheed is averaging 16.2 yards per catch and has 3 receiving touchdowns and is second in the NFL in both punt return, 14.4 yards, punt return. Very impressive. And kickoff return, 21.4 yard average. His diverse skill set has caught the attention of several Giants coaches. I don't know how fast he is, but I haven't seen anybody catch him, defensive coordinator Wink Martindale said. He's as fast as you need him to be, and not only is he fast, but he's also quick. Usually the real fast guys are stiff. This guy can get in and out of breaks, and he's a talented kid. He's a special athlete, said special teams coordinator, Thomas McGahee. You see a lot of speed. He's very, very talented. He does a really good job of fielding the ball and then just being explosive. And he has scary, excellent straight ahead line speed. Really good with the ball in his hands. Martindale McGahee must deal with another versatile Saint weapon with Taysom Hill. The pocket knife of all pocket knives. I mean, the guy can do so many different things. He's their third string quarterback. He leads the league's most misleading designation. Hill is New Orleans' second leading rusher with 346 yards and 4 touchdowns. He averages 4.9 yards a carry. He's fifth with 33 receptions, including 3 scores. He's the punt protector. So, I mean, he's the lead guy. So that means that they'll have no problem at all snapping the ball to him. They want to get a yard or two, maybe fake punt it on a 4th down. And he's a beast to try to bring down. Let's see. He's a rusher on the punt return team, and he's completed 5 of 8 passes, including 1 for a touchdown. The guy can do freaking everything. When we were all playing high school football, he was the guy who was the all-state in football, basketball, and baseball, Martindale said. He's just better than everybody else. He's just a really good football player, and it's even better when he has the ball in his hands. Kamara has 564 rushing yards, 5 touchdowns, and he has 63 receptions. He's only had 10 games, though. So he's averaging over 6 receptions a game. So he gets the ball quite a bit. So look for him to get the ball quite a bit. New Orleans has decided advantage in quarterback experience. DeVito has played in just 6 games with 4 starts. Derek Carr, his first year stint with the Saints, has started all 156 regular season and postseason games in which he's played in 10 seasons. The first 9 with the Raiders, and he has thrown for 231 touchdown passes with only 107 interceptions. Carr hasn't missed a game this season despite rib and shoulder injuries and a concussion. So there's been 3 games so far this season. He's started, but he's not finished. So he's been a banged up guy. So if you can go in there and we can get some shots on him, that would be huge. Start rattling him. He might start throwing some interceptions. When Martindale was on Baltimore Ravens coaching staff from 2012 to 2021, he faced Carr 4 times. The Ravens were 1-3 in those games. Martindale said he's tough as nails. Oh, yeah, very, very tough. Gutsy. He's a really good quarterback. He's good at seeing when you're bringing the pressure. You can change the protections, and he knows who is going to be free if you have a free runner. He knows who that's going to be and try to run away from him. It's going to be a great challenge. The Giants have had their ups and downs this season, but never lost sight of their long-term goal. That hasn't changed as the season enters its final 4 weeks. It's always been the same, Barkley said. We've always had the mindset that we are a competitive team, and we've just got to find ways to win games. We weren't doing that in the beginning of the season. We can make every excuse in the book, but we didn't make any excuses. We just kept our head down and kept grinding. It doesn't help that our special teams and defense are creating 12 turnovers in the last 3 games, which is huge. I said the Giants, I mean, if they can get some turnovers, would be absolutely huge. Offense, especially with Tommy being a quarterback, I just feel like we're improving each week, and I feel like the younger guys are getting better each week. Wide receiver Jalen Hyatt, you can see Wan'Dale Robinson getting back to himself. Now, obviously, Wan'Dale being injured last season, coming back this season, he's still probably not in tip-top form, right? Probably next season he'll get even a little bit better. Let's hope he can stay healthy, though, too. Let's see, because then we got Darius Slayton, Isaiah Hodgins, right, and Darren Waller. Let's not forget about Bellinger, right, and Darren Waller. Be huge, absolutely huge. Just having him on the field, right? As I said, I mean, it's Saquon in the back, right? Waller, and especially if you can get Hyatt out there. Those guys, it's like there's guys, right? And then there's guys you have to, Hyatt's over there. Okay. Make one mistake, he's past you. One mistake. Not saying the Giants keep throwing the ball deep a bunch of times, but one mistake, he's past you. Waller, not one mistake, he's past you for a touchdown, nothing like that, or whatever, but he's a huge mismatch. Huge, right? And if Saquon's in the backfield, Saquon, okay. Saquon's there. Hyatt, okay. You know what I mean? The more those guys you can get on the field, absolutely huge. I said, this is certainly a winnable game. The Giants defense has been doing very well, right? I said, we're on the road, so it's not going to be easy. Can we keep up? Can Tommy DeVito keep doing what he's doing against the Packers? Get the ball out fast. If not, take off. Right? A couple reads or something like that, feeling a little pressure, whatever. Take off. Don't put the ball harm's way. If you take a sack, that's better than throwing an interception, right? If we're going to punt it, we got to punt it. But try not, no turnovers. And that's so easy to say, right? Pound the rock. Try to give Saquon or whatever, keep up with the running game. As I said, the Saints' run defense is not very good. Their coverage is good. Right, so you got to pick and choose where you're throwing the ball and all that and everything. But I mean, just having Waller on the field doesn't matter who the defense is. I mean, if you got Waller on the field, he's a freaking mismatch. Period. Right. So I said it's a very winnable game. I said, especially if you can rattle Carr a little bit, get some shots on him, especially early, because I've read some stuff like once you get some shots on him. Especially early, he knows it's going to be a long day. He gets a little frazzled or whatever like that. He might start throwing some interceptions, and that could be huge. It's a very winnable game. Basically, the way it is that after 60 minutes is over, okay, if the Saints win, it's because they were the better team. You tip your cap to them, go out there, shake their hands. Good game, man. Best of luck to you guys. You want it to be because the Saints beat you. You don't want to be because you lost to the Saints because you beat yourself, right? Make the Saints beat you. If they beat you because they're the better team, you tip your cap to them. But just don't blow. Give yourself a chance. If you give yourself a chance, right, anything can happen. So let's hopefully we can keep this magical carpet ride going for at least one more week. I don't feel too highly about it the following week when we got to go in Philly. But tomorrow in New Orleans, so you tell me we got a chance. So that's exactly what I'm telling you. Exactly. So should be a good game. Should be a good game either way. Let's see if Tommy Chicken Cutlets can keep this gravy train rolling. All right, guys, it's been 52 minutes. Whoever spent any time listening to me live, thank you. If anybody spends any time watching a replay this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. It really does. Thank you. So always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.